Okay, guys, this is Elliot Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. I'll start out with a quick market update and then jump into questions like I normally do. The market was very erratic today, confused a lot of traders. We'll start with the SPY. Again, like I mentioned, we knew this decline was finished, and this was just a counter trend drop in three waves. Wave three is born, and that's what we saw today happen. A lot of traders just were really lost and dumbfounded with what happened. But if you're an Elliott Wave practitioner, this made complete sense. Just a three-wave pullback, and out we go. So this really was not a shakeout. I was not shaken out of any of my long positions. Held them. Most of my longs worked out. Some are still lagging, but I'm still sticking with them. Short positions were closed out a while ago, but we'll be looking to re-enter short soon enough too, and play both sides of the market. Now the triple Qs, I said that either it was going to make that fifth wave or it was going to come up. So it looks like we are going to come up in this bigger connector. Much bigger connector now. I think that's what we have to assume is going to happen. Something like this. Again, it probably won't be a straight line up. And then this, we need three waves as well in C. So more than likely we'll have some kind of a big pullback, something like that. That's what I'm looking for. But it's, too soon to worry about it. So I think this is the count for now. IWM, I mentioned, if we could drop and erase divergence, then the correction won't be complicated. It would just end. And that's what we did today. We erased divergence. So technically, we got that reset with an extended third wave, got rid of the fifth wave. Now we can go higher and see as long as we're above 195. Dow Jones has got a weird structure that I think also is caution sign for the rest of the market in terms of, we do know that this won't go up in a straight line. There will be pullbacks. This could become a 1-2. We could even go for another 1-2 real deep. The triple Qs could come up and crash all the way back down. The Dow Jones may actually make a new low when that happens because we broke the low. We have divergence. So I would be careful that this isn't a bull trap in the Dow Jones and the cyclicals. And we do know silver had that structure, right? We talked about silver. So we could see another low that breaks this low in the Dow Jones. Now, I could do this, but it would violate the system that I trade. So really the Dow Jones, this indice, is not really something I'm interested in buying or selling. I'm just pointing out this structure here kind of lends itself to having a rug pull, one more rug pull. Just that's what it looks like. Now, moving on to Bitcoin. Again, I'm assuming Bitcoin's made a low, but we need that weekly cycle to break. And until it breaks, we just really can't get too giddy on crypto, too excited. So we just got to be patient and see what happens. What's going to happen? So I think crypto is just waiting for the right moment, right opportunity. And I think it's going to happen soon. The big move is going to happen in crypto. Either this Y wave will catch a lot of people by surprise, or it won't. It just won't do it. And the correction actually ended here, right here. And this was a 1-2. And then we're coming out to these higher areas or even higher. Oil, so again, we could still be in this 4 for ABC, and then a 5, and then a big pump for it. It takes a while, or it's already finished. But I think we just gotta let this play out a little bit. Gold, trying to finish this 4 wave, may already be finished it. Actually, may need one more low. We'll see. Silver, like I said, silver looks like the Dow Jones, right? We're gonna come up like we're doing right now, and then another rug pull for that, something like this. This is what I'm thinking. I would say this would be unusual truncation and not ideal correction if that were to happen. But I think that's what silver's going to do. The dollar index also needs to push a little higher before I think we could go lower. Now, if we look at this 4-wave, this 2 took quite a while, right? It went from May 16th to June 27th, over a month, like a couple weeks. So August 26th, a month and a couple weeks would be mid-October. So in fact, this 4 could actually extend a little bit further, which makes sense potentially, and you get some more complex correction. It does something like this and like that. And then you get this this bigger drop. We just don't know. So we'll wait and see what happens. Then the VIX is showing a massive warning sign to the market that it's only 5 waves up. I mean, what it means, since it's 5 waves up, that means it probably will have a C leg. So what this is this could set up a buying opportunity for the VIX to re-enter your short positions. We did that really well here, down here, right? We bought the VIX here, and we held through it, and then bam, we had a lot of profit. So there'll be the same kind of setup coming up, but I think you got to be patient and let this bleed down a little bit. It looks like it wants to go to 16, 1594 again, testing that wedge here, this wedge. And then we could see another market pullback for another pullback. And of course, UVIX needs to head down to this area, which I'm patiently waiting for, this area. To reload shorts. I think it's too early to reload your shorts here. I think it's too early. I think some people on the internet were like, oh my God, buy puts today. I think those puts will probably be profitable, but you're going to have to probably hold through some pain first. I think the market's going to go a little bit higher as the VIX has more bleed off that needs to happen. Now, the Japanese yen is another thing that technically I didn't cover yesterday that broke, that was important to point out. We broke this low. So we broke this low, and we could do a couple things with this yen. What it also says is definitely opens up the door for more yen strength, which has been massive risk off for the market. So we know that that's coming. We know the VIX has another spike. So we know there's another big sell-off coming in the market, really big. And that's not the crash, guys. That's just another big sell-off before the crash. What I think the yen could be trying to do here, it could do something like this, which we never made it up here, and then we get this bigger connector, and then the market can pump more. Now, if the market can make new all-time highs while this happens, well, then obviously this is the big crash in the market. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But obviously, this isn't good for the bulls. But we could get this counter trend, hurt the bears, hurt the bulls, bam, we're down. So I think that's all I want to say for the market update. So what can you expect with the market? I think you just have to trust these counts as they play out like I've been doing. This graph has not changed. I posted this graph last week before my move. We hit the B, we reversed, and we bottomed, and we're coming up. Just like this. And this area I've had highlighted. It would be amazing if I hit it because I highlighted this top area in December 2023. No one believed this could be hit. We may hit it and then crash. It would be an epic call by myself to get that. We stayed long the market pretty much the whole journey this year. Except for this little bit, we saw the steamroller coming, right? We saw the freight train. We got out of the way of the freight train, and then we just kind of traded this chop a little bit, the final push. But we know we can't, our long positions, we can't get too comfortable in them because time is running out in the market, guys. Time is a ticking time bomb that will go off. And I just don't know how it's going to go off. Could it go off 1987 style, one day or down 20%? Could it go off in a gentle top-in pattern and just slowly, I don't know. But once we make another high, regardless of my count and how smart I think I am, the market could top at any moment. It doesn't have to get to this levels. It can. So that's the danger of getting too levered on the long side. Just know that time is running out on the market. Unless you believe in Moonboy that it's just going to keep going to infinity. And there are few that believe the market just won't ever go down and it's just going to keep going up. It's just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up and to the moon. And I think that's a delusional count. I think people that follow and say they're knowledgeable in Elliott waves that say the market's just going to keep going up like that, I think it's delusional. I think that marks usually the top of a major cycle, right? Delusion, like lack of, this time is different, a new paradigm. I think that's what people would be. I think it's delusional. I think you got to respect the bearish divergences on the higher time frames. They're going to take over and they're going to drop this thing hard. There's so many gaps that need to fill, by the way, and I believe they all will fill. Going all the way back down to the COVID lows. You see, these are gaps they're going to have to fill. The Dow Jones has more gaps that are unfilled. You see all these unfilled gaps? We have all these gap traders on the internet. Oh, just buy the gap, trade the gap. Well, what about these gaps? Oh, well, those don't count. We just keep going higher. We just buy calls. Well, eventually, guys, these gaps are going to fill. I think all these gaps are going to fill here. Every one of these on the back end of whatever this is, the back end of it, we're going to fill all those gaps. So unfortunately, there's some dark times coming in the market in the next couple of years. Now, one thing I want to say is the debate last night, we saw Harris, supposedly the media said she won. Some people said she won, but then Trump fans said Trump won. So it's whoever side you're on said is the winner. So no one won. So my thing is, the market is going to do what it's going to do. I think the dynamic in the market that I see taking place, and we saw it today, like uranium was up big today. Even silver and gold got bid, but I think they'll continue higher. I think inflation's coming back, guys. And we saw it in the CPI today. The CPI was okay, but it wasn't like great, and it wasn't like they took the 50 basis point off. Now it's 25. And some guy on the TV was like, he may not even cut rates now. And they were like, get this guy off the radio, get this guy off TV, shut the hell up. What are you doing? So I think like, now imagine if Powell doesn't actually lower rates next week. Holy shit, the market will go down. But that's what the market needs. And market needs that, I think. But I do think what will bring the big crash wave, the multi-year bear market, is going to be inflation returning, interest rates going to new highs, the Fed having to raise rates again, and or they keep the short end down and then the back end just goes out of control. And then maybe we get, some inflation in a way that we haven't seen before since the 70s, and that's the trade. And then most of the indices are made up of tech. Tech gets hammered, growth gets hammered, and then the few obscure sectors that nobody owns, like uranium, miners and stuff, they're the ones that pump and moon in the next couple of years. And then energy makes a comeback, right? Oil makes a comeback. Because we do know oil is got a two-part story to it, guys. Oil is a two-part story. Ignore this mess. You have one swing, you have a downswing, you have one more swing up. Guys, oil will hit $200 a barrel in the 2020s at some point. Energy is going to have its moment again. So we do need to reload energy stocks on this pullback, but this pullback is just a connector wave for another big pump. And this probably will be a market, like bear market, just like this part was. So I think that's where we're going with it, and go from there. So anyway, so that's where I think we're going with the market. Enough speech. Let's go into questions. Let's go into your questions. All right. So interesting day today. 6737. I think you're new. I haven't seen you before on my super chat. I don't recognize that. But thanks for coming in. Let's take a look at what you got. By the way, guys, when we're up here, the EV market could be back to mooning again, right? Because no one wants gas guzzlers again. No one wants EVs when oil's at $48, right? So that's how you trade the EV. So I'm going to tell you with Rivian. Rivian's going to get pummeled as oil drops. But when oil goes back up, all those stocks should recover, because then everyone will be begging for EVs. There'll be more. There'll be lines. There'll be back orders. Oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy. EV craze. But right now, no one wants them. So here's Rivian count. We haven't changed it. The buy is at $7, $7.85, $8 for the final low. So there you go. So it's gonna make its way down as oil goes down. But as I said, major bottom, and then we could come out of this. When probably energy bottoms, this will bottom. Serve, that is a stock that I know I get asked a lot about. I'm not sure why it's so popular with traders. I gotta look into it myself. I get asked about it so much. And again, don't know why. It is interesting to see that. So Serve is in a buy area. It's either in an extended fifth wave or our counts off just a little bit. Let's see what we've got going on. So it looks like it extended. So we had this in wave 5, but you see how there is divergence. So actually the fifth wave, it extended its count. And that's a problem with trying to, buy these wave 5s, because the market could just keep extending as you lose money trying to bottom fish. So it looks like this wave 3 is going to be finished at any moment. We should get a bounce. And if this plays out, let's take a look at our structure. We should get one more low. Now here's the thing about it. Where did we make the bottom? So there is a possibility that I could put the 5 here, the 3 here, the 4 here, and then say it's finished right now, or we're in 5. So the only way to really know for sure is when we see the cycle break on the higher time frame. So you could look at the daily cycle. It's starting to turn up, but let's look at the weekly cycle, still straight down. So I think the daily cycle is key. The daily cycle looks like it wants to turn. We have to first get it lined up just right with the peak. So there we go. There it is. Let's go back here. So as you can see, we've already made the break with some divergence. So really what that tells me is it's more than likely starting to bottom. And the weekly cycle, this is a weekly cycle correction. So it's not just a daily, it's a weekly cycle, which is obvious. It's so deep, which means when it does bottom, it's probably got months and months of upside to come. So I do believe it's ready to bottom at any moment. It just needs a catalyst to get people interested. This looks like a massive wedge, right? All you chart pattern traders out there. It looks like it's just about to break out of this wedge. Maybe I didn't draw it quite right. Maybe, depending on how you want to do it. So there you go. Pretty good setup. I don't know what this company does. I don't care what it does, but everybody asked me about it. So it's a buy, and it's at the wave 4 low where you like to see. Now, I don't like this gap there, but that's a 4-hour gap. And it's a daily. So I don't like that gap there, but that also is a warning sign that we could bounce, but then also come back down lower later. So keep that in mind. So AMC did a lot better today than GME, right? But GME was correct in a 5-wave move, right? And all the dumb money got blown up. It was just blowing up dumb money today. I was laughing my ass off again. There's just so much dumb money in it, and they just get their asses blown up as they chase at the top and sell at the bottom. But anyway, AMC, this is probably where I needed it to turn, and it turned, like with the rest of the market. So I think this downtrend's over, right? I mean, look, you broke the downtrend, so the downtrend's clearly over. No divergence. The 45-minute cycle pulled out. The 4-hour cycle is up. Yeah, so this is good. So hopefully you didn't get shaken out of AMC. You watched my update last night. I told you guys what to expect with AMC and GME. So this is where you just have to turn your computer off and go do something else, because if you watch your account balance, you'll get scared and that's what happened. People panicked out of it today. I bet people panicked out down here, and there was no reason to. As long as we held this low, there was no technical reason to sell today. There was no reason. And that's why, and then the market recovered, most of it. We say AMC, and then I'll just like GME, same thing. It was a deep correction. It held the low, and now it's turning out of it, and a crash correction. So, but again, a lot of traders, they panic. They don't know what's going on. They don't know. They just see all this, and they get scared, and they sell it, and they're doing a share offering. They've been doing share offerings much bigger than this since I've been trading it. And it always recovers from the share offering, guys. It always does. So why would this be any different? Why would this be any different? So anyway, let's go to PLL. PLL, let's see here, is commodity. I think I have that in my commodities. So I don't like anything to do with EVs or lithium until energy bottoms. I don't like PLL again, where it looks like another 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So it looks like it's trying to it doesn't look good. Now there's a lot of 1-2s here. That's almost too bearish. So we need to look at some of the cycles and see if we can consolidate this a little bit. Let's take a look. So we have WXY ABC. So we said this was a full cycle here because we had a full cycle reset. So why don't we clean this up, this chart up a little bit? I think it's a little too bearish. And we can go from there. So let's see. So this is our wave 3, and there's our 4. So we know that just to give us like an idea where we're trading at. So we're probably something like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for another 1, 2. So you probably have, whoops, let's see here. It's like a 1, 2. Let's try to do this. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Yeah, why don't we go like that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we reset the whole cycle here. So this is where we thought was the bottom, but we broke the low. So we have this full cycle here, reset, and then we broke the low. That's very bearish. That's very bearish, right? Now, that cycle reset did not reset. Let me see. Let's go to a higher cycle. You could say it reset this whole cycle and we're impulsing down. So why don't we, again, I'm trying not to be as bearish with the count. So why don't we try to do something a little different with this? Instead of an ABC, we'll call this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Here, like that. And that would probably be a better look. And then we're still in Y. And now we need, and that looks like the third wave right here. So now we need a connector, which we have. So this was A, B, and now we need C. And then we need 5 waves down. 1, 2, and we need to erase divergence here on the weekly. So we need to push down and erase that. So it definitely has more downside. My guess is that's not a 3-4. Because of that, it's going to still extend down. So I think it has one more big drop and then a bunch of 4s and 5s to finish this out. So I think this is the pattern. So I do believe it's more downside coming as energy bleeds off. I kind of updated the count on this just to make a little more sense using the RSI, and then we can drop it more. I think it needs, on the weekly cycle, it has to erase this divergence. It's got to erase this divergence. And once it does that, that's your signal that this is probably coming to an end, the correction. If it could, again, you're getting close to the single digits. You're in the single digits. You're getting close to the low single digits, which means the company could be under pressure to even operate. So I don't know the fundamental picture of the company. Some companies go to zero. Some companies go bankrupt. Not all companies survive a grand supercycle correction. So you have to keep that in mind when you trade these. Sometimes news drops. They're filing for bankruptcy. Chesapeake Energy is a great example of a stock that did that back in the day. So don't assume a stock may never come back. May never come back. So I just mentioned that. All right. Mark V, we can go to your questions. here. Let's see. M Core, that's a new one. Let's take a look at that real quick. All right, M Core. All right. So M Core looks like it's got a pretty good pump going on, but we'll go to the monthly cycle. So here you have a wave 3, right? So you're in your wave 3. Let's go back. So here's your first cycle right here. And then it looks like a one. So it looks like either you're in, to me it looks like it needs one more high, then another bigger pullback, something like that. So it should be about to top again with one more high. And then a really nasty pullback is coming. So I think, again, all the easy money is over. I think there's no more money. More than likely, the easy money's over. That 4 is in. So you got one more high, though. So I think you got one more high, and I think that's what we're seeing build here. Like the rest of the market, just on one more high. Looks like wave 3 and 5 is starting. And then at some point, you'll get a nasty drop that should come all the way back down to this 300 area or even lower. Usually you could target the 618 retrace for wave 4s. Let's say it makes it up there. So that'll get you to like $280 and take a while. All right, SO, Southern Company. Again, a lot of these stocks that show these charts. So here you go. Here you have a 3 with bearish divergence. So you're in a wave 5, or they're probably the grand super cycle is finishing up. So this is probably, again, red alert, like it could end at any moment. It could end at any moment. It does look like it's got some kind of 1-2, 1-2 setup here. Like a 1-2. And then another 1-2 here. Maybe you could put the 3, 4, 5 here, and then yeah, maybe put the 5 up like that. Let's take another look at this. Put the 3 there, something like that. Put that 3 there. That 4 there, would see how it crashed straight down, and now you're in this 5th wave, the grand blow off top. So it looks like, you look at this structure, it looks incomplete for 5, but it looks like it's in some kind of usually this is some kind of like overlapping wave, like you'll get something like this. So that's what I think you're going to get to finish this off. My guess is it should be entering wave 4 any moment. Should see a big pullback, I think, as it finishes this bearish wedge. And then that's it. That's all she wrote for that for a long time, probably. And because it's a grand super cycle. So it's again, easy money, way over. It's the end. It's coming to the end of the train. Train tracks are running out. Here again, you have a 3 with a massive bearish. Look at the bearish divergence. So here you peaked. So the grand super cycle's already peaked here. This is a connector wave. It's probably going to take another swing down. I mean, I've seen these charts a million times. You know, looking at these charts. And let's just take a look. Yeah, I would say it's in a 1-2, 1-2 setup. So that's a little bit better. It's not so dire. It's in something like this. I would not put the 3 there. I would put this as another 1. Now you see where the wave 4 is. That's usually where it comes back to. That's why I think it's highly likely it will double correct. And then this would be a buying opportunity if you can keep an eye on it. At some point, we'll be coming back to $91 in this area, and then this would be a massive opportunity for long-term investors. when this happens. This actually could rug pull at any moment. This structure looks like it could be close to finishing. There, it already tagged it. See how it tagged the 182 and it's finding resistance? So it may already be at the top. So this sector may, its best days may be behind it for quite a while. That could be a short area. There may be no more room to run on this. Now, there's always a chance it could push higher in this, but I think it's in a lot of danger. And it looks like it's just a classic ABC correction. It just looks like a very typical ABC zigzag correction, something like that, right? Biotech ETF. Interesting future for the biotechs, but we know that that's coming, right? The problem is some of the biotechs are really beat down, like Pfizer and stuff. I don't know if Pfizer's in this ETF or not, but hard to say. I have to look and see what's in this ETF, but whatever makes up this, probably stocks that are in a lot of trouble coming up. KKR. Let's take a look at that. I want to add that to my ETF basket. Okay, so KKR, another one, massive bearish divergence, blow off top wave 5. This one's a real easy Elliott wave. Like this is, your 5th grader can label it. Pretty simple, right? Doesn't take a rocket scientist to know what do you think is going to happen. You usually lose the whole 5. So more than likely you'll lose this whole thing. It'll come back down to $35. So KKR is screwed unless it can erase divergence. And it hasn't been able to do that. Now we don't have a monthly cycle break yet. So until that happens, the bulls still have hope. Let's look at the weekly cycle. The weekly cycle, still look okay. So the bulls have a chance to push it up and erase divergence. So I'm labeling it here. I wouldn't short it here because of that. But once the monthly cycle breaks, then it's pretty much game over. I mean, you look at this, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like, yeah, maybe one more high if you're lucky. And that's it. That's it. What are these guys? What sector are these guys in? Financials? Yeah, I think private equity, real estate, who knows what the hell they have got themselves into. But whatever they did, they're gonna have a lot of trouble. They got a lot of trouble coming. This firm's got a lot of trouble coming. But anyway, good luck. All right, Johnny, let's go to your questions. AP. Let's take a look at that one real quick. I believe we've done that one before. I thought we did. Maybe not. Oh yeah, we did it. I wonder if it just didn't make it on here. So we are close to a buy area. We did hit the buy area, right? We just kind of pierced through it. So yeah, this looks like it's bottomed here, like the rest of the sector. Again, this is the type of sector that nobody owns is trading, but maybe you asking about it. So this is a 1-2-1-2 setup, right? This looks like a 1-2-1-2 setup to me. That's what it looks like. Just like that. There's really no, I mean, I could say it's still in 2, but this doesn't look like that. To me, it looks too pronounced. It looks like 1-2-1-2. Good luck on that. MLGO. Let's take a look how that's doing. That's a beat up one. So we're looking to find the bottom of this. So I can already see this 4 wave turned into a sideways consolidation. So that's the 4 there. Let's go back. So 5 really is extended. What we need to see is we want to still see that bullish divergence stay intact. If we don't see that, then we're in trouble. So you still have it on the 45, but the 4 hours what's important, and you have it. Now it looks like you're in wave 3 of 5. So it's just let's look at the 45 minute. Yeah. So it's in wave 3 of 5. So it looks like to me that yeah, look, I'm just kind of looking at this here, staring at it. 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. So there's a 1 2 3 4 5. So we're close. But like I think with this, the way to time it isn't like waiting. It's you just gotta wait for the cycle break, which hopefully will come soon, right? You got this cycle. It's not going to just go to zero, right? At some point, that daily cycle is going to reverse. It's starting. You can see the momentum. The sell momentum is slowing down. The wave 5, you know, and you'll see more of that. And look at the bullish divergence here. So I think you just have to be patient, and when you get a better indication of a breakout, maybe another way is like, again, you draw this downtrend line. You see that, and again, I'm not going to draw it perfect, but maybe, you know, I try to get through the majority of the points. When you break that line decisively with a close, then you pretty much know it's done, and it's ready to reverse. You know, something like that, maybe. You know, I don't know. Tough to play these penny stocks, but I think if I was trying to trade it, I would either wait for the breakout, or I would, you know, wait for this 5th wave, and I want to see 45-minute bullish divergence with a lower price with much higher RSI compared to, so that's what I want to see. All right. All right, Anonymous, good to see you back. Let's go to your question here. BCHG, MIG. So crypto is in a very serious situation because I think Bitcoin could surprise people with a low. Now, if you look at this this wave, we did get this low, and we broke it. That's what we wanted. Now, ideally, we wanted to hit this trend line at 374. We got to 441. Is that done, or does it need one more swing? One more swing would be ideal. That would be ideal. But we just don't know. But it's got to make its decision soon. Now, look, you see how you came down in a really erased divergence here, and you had a strong momentum on that reversal. Now, the 4-hour, you didn't really do it. Now, the 4-hour is erasing that, but you're still within that 4-hour cycle. You see? So you're still like Bitcoin. The market hasn't decided. I think the market in the next couple days is either going to see crypto have a massive surge higher, or it's going to crash and then reverse like a face rip in reverse. So this is just total speculation, buying here or selling here. The market is stalemate. Crypto, but I think stocks like MicroStrategy tell me it's going to go lower. It's probably got another low coming. It's what I'm thinking, but I do respect the weekly cycle breakout. So good luck. I think you either got to wait for a push higher to break that 4-hour cycle, or if it could break down, you could buy it here at 385 for a massive opportunity, which we were patiently waiting, because we did buy it here, got that, and then we got out of it, and now we're just kind of waiting. All right, MIGI. Again, we try to avoid that train wreck. So we're in this 4-wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right there is your 4. There's your 3. So again, I'm looking for one more low. One more low. And this could be a complex pattern. It does not have to break this low. It just needs to finish the impulse. So, and race divergence. So that's the other big thing. It's got to, it should take this out. So we want to, so I think this wave 5 will be, could be a pretty nasty drop, but I think it's got one more low. All right, LTCN. So I'm still biased to crypto to have one more low. I'm not ready to be moon boy yet on crypto, but I am respecting the count. So again, we had the short. Hey guys, we called this right. I hope Anonymous, you made a lot of money on this, because we called this pump and then we called a short and we got that. Now, where do we go from here? Well, it needs a C leg, so we have to count the impulse. So we have a 1-2. So it needs a, just like the rest of crypto, I think it needs another drop. And then somewhere down there is the low, $3, $4, somewhere around there. Okay, so that's where I'd be looking for that low to come. Okay, so thanks for your super chat. All right, Jeremy, let's look at this Sing stock. Sing here. Let's see here. SIG, it is an OTC stock. All right, I found it. So again, these kind of go to zero stocks. They're really tough to trade, but if you look at this structure just on a bigger time frame, it looks like a sideways sideways structure of some kind with lower peaks. So typically looking at that, looking at the bigger picture, again, if I'm just kind of playing around with it, right? There's some kind of A here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So more than likely this is some kind of, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 3. So it's probably some kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So some kind of flat connector of some kind. And now it needs a whole nother swing down and C. But the problem is, looking at this, you really can't go any lower, right? I think it's gone down so much. Let's take a look. Maybe we can make this work. So if this is C, you see these overlapping waves. So more than likely, you're still in some kind of connector with all those overlapping waves. So then if that's the case, then we need to kind of just label this the 3-wave swings, right? It's not going to be super accurate, but it gives you the idea. You know, do something like that. So it probably has this E wave pump coming, but not as big as C. It's probably missing like a pump. And then again, looking at this connector, looks like to me some kind of W, X, Y type sideways connector. I mean, this looks not possible. Like it's not realistic to think that it's going to go up this high. So if this isn't the connector, then the only other chart that works for me is the connector's finished, and then you have overlap and wave impulse, which is very bearish, which would probably be the more accurate count, given it's not practical to think it's going to go back up to those old highs. So this would be some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2, right? And then this would be another 1, 2. And we go down. So I think that's probably the way to play this for now. And then we could look at this wave, kind of the same thing. 1, 2. And down. So now this wave 2 looks like to me it needs more separation to get the third wave finished, and that's what it's trying to do, but struggling to do it. So it's gotta play this out more. So this has got more downside. No matter what happens here, it's going down more, but it's not ready for like the super pump until all these swings are finished. And like I said, it's just kind of rough trying to label this thing. But you know, something like that. So it's got to play this out, and there's still more fours, and you know, so you see how much more downside has got to come, but all those fours are pumps. So it's like trying to time it is going to be really tough. It's not really, I don't really see good setups in this to trade, but good luck with it. I think it does look like this 5 is ending at any moment, and you should get another pump in 4. So I guess if you're trading it, see, there's your wave 3 of 5 right there with that gap. So it should have a pump coming, but that will obviously fail. I don't know, and I don't know how high. It could come all the way back up to 358 even. That would be a hell of a gain, right? That's a hell of a pump if that happens, because you'd be correct in the cycle all the way from here, all the way up from 32. You'd be correct in this whole move. This went from like $8 to 31. So you'll get a pump. You'll get a pump out of this. Maybe it won't go that high. Maybe this is better, more real. 87 cents. That's probably more realistic. And if you're lucky, you fill that gap. And then it should continue lower. How low, I don't know. All right, thanks for the super chat, man. Third waves go, so the third wave goes to the 618 extension typically, but it can go higher than that. Third waves can go very high. Like they can, like if you look at the extension, typically it goes to the 1618 here, 1618, but could even go to the 2618, the 364. Wave 3s can extend, but they're always usually the most extended wave. It has a gap usually. And then also it has the RSI usually is like, looks something like that, the peak momentum. All right, Bama. So mRNA, again, I don't trade the news, so the news is irrelevant, but it is interesting. I didn't know they were going into monkeypox. But monkeypox make a comeback if we're looking at some of these charts. But let's see here. mRNA made a 5th wave down. So I had this 3rd wave, and this was a good setup for another 3 waves higher and possibly even a low, but it didn't do that. So now it's more bearish, right? So now we have a 5 wave count down, which is really bearish, right? If I could get this down right here. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, something like that. So I'm labeling it this way. Something like that is how I want to label it because of the way the RSI bottomed here. So this was also the buy, that buy area was the 5th wave buy area. So more than likely now these highs aren't going to happen. So I think mRNA, obviously this is a connector. We have 5 waves down. So it's got a counter trend rally coming that could be pretty significant still. But I think it's going to go lower at some point. So I think this is going to have a 2-wave bounce. May probably fill this gap here. Could even come back to back test this. But I'm still looking for something like that. All right, one road AV. Let's see what you got. SYRE. So again, when you break that low, it's kind of like a very bad technical setup. It looks like to me you have 3, 5, so it looks like an ABC here. There's your connector, and then you came down in 3. There's your kind of buy area. You erased divergence, pretty much erased it. So it looks like to me, let's go back to this connector here. We don't have enough data to do a good analyze it. I'm going to go with a 3-wave connector, something like this. But that looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so this just looks like it. So it looks like there's a chance it could have a low here of some kind. And then at least a counter trend bounce. But there's not enough data to do a really good analysis. But it could easily be 1, 2, and then you come out of this. Or at least get a bounce, and then it could fail again. There's just not enough data to really analyze it properly. CYN. CYN looks close. Looks like we had this wave 4 here, and then we had this 5. So we're still in 5, right? But we know 5 is about to end as long as we kept bullish divergence, right? We need to keep that bullish divergence intact. And it looks like we did, but not on this wave. But we did on the overall wave, which is more important. So the problem we have is it's another 1, 2. So the market, like I said, it could just keep extending, and that's why it's so hard to find the lows. And it's always better to wait, maybe just wait for the reversal of the low, and we'll just have to wait patiently. But at some point, we should get that, is the idea. Right? So I should put that there. And yeah, it just keeps extending. In fact, I could call this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to do something like that. And now we're in this 3rd wave extension. So it does look like it has a little more downside coming. And this this chart's still okay. And then we'll label this as an end in diagonal. So because see how race and divergence just really messes up with the wave count. But now that 3 should end soon. We'll get a 4, and then it's got to keep going in another 5 and another ABC sequence. So it's got a whole nother ABC to come. So it's got a while to go. It extended. So it's just going to keep pushing down, I believe. But we do have this 4 wave coming, which would be a pump. But that will fail, and then you'll have another ABC that needs to come out of that. So it's just extending, and it can keep doing that until it just doesn't exist anymore as a company, or reverse splits to death. So, but this 4 is coming, and I think you get one more low, and you'll get a pump like that, something similar in this 5th wave. All right, GATX, let's take a look at that. Next one, less L. So you see all that bearish divergence. This is so it still needs it needs a third wave, so it's bullish. It's a bullish chart. Searching for a third wave. So the way I would label this is something like this, and then it's going to correct this whole cycle, but it'll be another 1-2. So I'm looking for a drop down to like $79. This can end at any moment. And then you could watch the monthly cycle break. If you see that, see it's about to break down. Once you really break that pivot there, it's pretty much game over for this cycle, and you're going to have a big drop. I think it's going to happen at any moment. Okay, yeah, you're looking for a short entry on that. I'll try to give you one, but it's very risky. Again, the top tick, because the market can always extend, especially a stock that hasn't seen a wave 3 yet that looks like this. But that's your short area right there. So that would be it, and that's where the market found sellers. So it looks like the short entry may have been lost, the ideal entry, but perhaps you can go back. It goes back in it now. As long as you're below 151.37, the short setup is intact still, because clearly this cycle's over. So this 5 is either topped. Now if we take this high out, then the 5 is extended. Right, then there's no more opportunity. So the opportunity exists anywhere below that line. As long as you're below there, you have the short opportunity, and that's your risk. And if the market can pump up more, then you have lower risk. But once you take this high out, well, then obviously this wave 5 is going to push up, and then you have to let it play out more again. It's going to extend. So good luck. All right, let's go to the next super chat. Here. Eddie Bizun. Yeah, I'll look at that real quick. All right, so it is almost there. Now the weekly and daily cycles is what's really matters. So there's the peak. So I always draw the line from the peak of the price, which is that price. As you can see, you are not clear yet. The weekly, so it's still bearish on the weekly cycle. Not there yet. Let's look at the daily cycle. Daily cycle is harder to look at on a bigger picture. So looking at that, you can see. You see that turn up? Look at all that RSI pump. That's a lot of hidden bearish divergence there. But when I look at the overall structure, we're still well below the trend line, right? We're still well below that line. So we're still in this full cycle. But of course, discounted trend rally, as long as we're below that peak, obviously that low, we're in a small site, like it's just so small. So this wave 5 could be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It could just need one more low, but this should be coming to an end soon. But the daily cycle is still bullish, but as you can see, it's running out of room, and the price has barely moved. So people are really selling into it. So I definitely think this will end. All right. Okay, let's go to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA and Tesla. NVIDIA moved up today. Again, a lot of traders are very confused on what's going on with NVIDIA and everything. So I've been also looking at this. So again, you see how you have 3 big swings here, a connector, and now you need 3 big swings, right? You're missing. So it does look like this will fail and make another low. I do think it's going to hit $81. Now, there's a chance it's still in B, but this isn't an area that you really can't trade it. It's so erratic. But I'm just showing you where I think it's going to go based on the first wave, and then I look at the C leg. But the only other option I can see is it can go a little bit higher. All right, so but the short term, obviously the momentum's bearish. Now I look at this wave down, it looks like 5 down, right? So that actually is a warning sign that this is a B, and this is just counter trend, and this is some kind of A, B, C. That's what it looks like. So, but I'm not recommending any trading on NVIDIA. I would just be on the sidelines, and if it happens to go to $81, you can buy it. And if it happens to come to 150, you can sell it. In here, you just got to ignore it. Go trade other things. That's what I recommend. I'm not recommending trading this chart. All right, Tesla is, I mentioned Tesla last night that it really needs to take out this high here, 235. It's trying to do that. Now, if it can do that, it will push it up to 310, 320, and the connector will go up higher. So very interesting chart, but until that happens, it's not all clear. So it's, again, in a middle area, you'll be guessing, you'll be just going to the casino, the lottery ticket, whatever you want to call it, by trading it here. So the best thing to do is just let the market decide for you. Let the market break 239 and then look to get long. And then hold through the chop and the pullbacks and all that, because it'll come up to 320 and you get the money. Or you just don't do nothing and let it collapse, and then you can buy it back down at 140. Here, it's just guessing. It's just, again, just random guessing. That's why I don't like to trade a lot of these big cap tech stocks right now. Their chart setups are very, they're in the middle. They're in a connector congested area that makes it very difficult for good trades. But there's a lot of other things to trade. Okay, so Thomas, I just covered Tesla. Yeah, let's take a look at how PayPal is doing real quick. All right, so our short area played out. And this was our short box. And it, boom, nailed it. So now it's turning down in C. So it looks like it's a very simple chart here, 1, 2, and then booms. So we're in a 2-wave. The 2-wave can go up, back up again, but now you have a really good short opportunity against this peak at 74.42. That's how I look at this. Could 2 be over? It could be, but maybe it goes a little bit higher. Now, if we can break 74.38, the bearish case is negated, because then you'll have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it will pull back, and then it will be a buyable. So you have to be careful. It could still do like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a massive drop. But that's buyable. And but either way, you see, so you got to understand where it's going. But I think right now this is what I've been playing with, and we'll see how that goes. All right, Mark V, appreciate it. Let's go to your question. AMR, let's see here. Alpha. Again, this is one that we'll have to clean up a little bit so we can actually see where we're at with it. Put the 3 there, the 4 there. All right, let's just kind of clean it up a little bit. So there's that 5, there's that 3, there's that 4, there's that 5, Now we're in that 3. Now we're in that 4. So it looks like we should be bouncing any moment. Connector wave is like here somewhere. You know, down in 3, and then up, and then 3. So right here, so 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, and then, yeah, so it needed to get to 162.60. Oh yeah, that divergent. So this it's probably going to truncate, I think, but it could be over at any moment. So that wave 4 could be over at any moment. Perhaps it can go lower, but it looks like it's close to a major low for this next final push higher in the grand supercycle. And we've done pretty well calling this, and we did kind of get the short area right. We didn't get that like blow off top area, but we got the idea like where to sell it. But we've been trying this for a while, and it's worked out. So hopefully we get this final push. All right, and then all right. So we have in this fifth wave, that fifth wave looks like it's probably about to end, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your 3, 4. So yeah, it's almost over. It's almost game over for this stock. I mean, that could be 5. Could it go higher? I don't know. Maybe a little bit higher, but it should be it. That should be it. One more, boom. So that's going to end at any moment. MOD, Modine. Again, we had this fifth wave. This is a 4 wave here. So we still need one more high, I think, in 5. I don't think that's the 4. I think that's the 4 here because it's a more higher degree, and then you need 5. So I do think it's got, this one has like a little more upside coming, and then that should be it for another big drop in 4. AGCO. AGCO 3 connector. We broke the low. So I don't even have to chart the beginning. I will look at it in a minute. We can look at that. So it needs to hit 75.35, and you definitely erase divergence. So that's good. Now 1, 2, 3 connector 1, 2, 3, and then you had this shallow one. So let's look at this structure a little bit. Definitely a WXY structure. So we know it's that. Yeah, so that's your A, B, C. It looks, this leg looks incomplete. That leg looks incomplete to me. Well, see, you do have, I could force a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but that's pretty strong. You see that bounce compared to this bounce here. So I'm willing to think that this is one cycle here, and it's something like this. So I'd be looking for something like that. I don't think it's done. I wouldn't buy it here early. I would be a little more patient and see what happens in the next 3 or 4 days of trading to get more data to see if we can get this bigger drop. But if we start pushing up too strong, then you have to call it over. And then this was just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So but I think it's got more downside coming. All right, thanks for the super chat. Intel, you always like looking at Intel. We saw that earlier when it collapsed. People were freaking out about it, but you know, it is a dividend stock that everyone happened to own, and they wish they didn't. I think they got rid of their dividend, right, or something like that, or maybe that was a rumor. So this was the buy area, right? This was the oh shit, you know, shit in your pants buy area, right? That we had, that we thought it'd never meet, but it met it. So we need to check divergences out. And did we get like historic capitulation? I just didn't do it. Almost. So it's got more downside. So we do have an extreme target area. So you see this extreme area. I bet we'll hit that, and we need to erase that divergence. So this unfortunately, and also we broke the low. You see how we had that 1, 2, and you see how we broke that 1. So I bet it's still got more downside. Now this 2 could really retrace. Look, it's got to retrace that whole move. It could take another swing back up to like 24, 25 as a trader, but I believe this will fail. It could even come back to retest the historic trend line at 27 and get a massive rejection. So I don't like trading it. I mean, if it does trade down to $13, $12, I don't know, maybe pick up 1,000 shares of it and see what happens. I don't recommend it. I'm just saying that there is talk that, you know, Intel may not even be a going concern potentially. I've heard those talks on online and stuff and on TV, and so I think you got to be careful trying to bottom fish it. There's something maybe wrong with the capital structure. I think they are trying to spin off divisions, which is always a sign. Like there's something wrong with the company, I think, deeper than what people understand. And so I think you need to be careful trying to bottom fish this. But we'll see how this plays out. Okay, next question. Tucker, CHGG. Chegg here. So we've had this chart it. It's played out pretty nicely. I think you could probably put that 3 and 4 here. And this 5 looks like we broke that low. So it's got to extend more. And we want to get this 3, this 4, and this 5. So it's got more downside. Near bottom, I don't think it's near bottom yet. It's still got more, as you can see, more swings coming. Has to come down. All right. Next, let's see here. Let's go Eric, SYRA. So we broke that low. It's very bearish once you break that low. And then you have 3 waves. So you could have maybe some technical support here at 62 cents, but it's got more downside coming. I would be looking at 62 cents to try to trade that as a bottom for a bounce, but it may go. It's probably going to go even lower once that happens. Lilly stock, I believe, is trying to find a grand super cycle peak, which it may have done possibly, but it keeps extending that 5th wave. So we're in this 5th wave. Now, is the 5th wave done? Can it extend? We don't know. Unfortunately, this is something that I won't be able to tell you, but I do believe at some point, like all good things will come to an end, and so will this stock. All right, SG. Let's go to SG. Sweet greens. So this came down, looks like in 5 waves down, but let's look at the divergence. So again, it's not ideal because we don't have enough chart data to properly analyze the corrective structure. So we'll just have to go from the low. There's really no other way to do this. So it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here of some kind. So there's your 3, 4, 5. And now it looks like it's either, to me, it looks like we're trying to finish. It's either, it looks like a 1-2, 1-2 setup, maybe. Very bullish. It looks like something like this. See how we broke that high? That's very bullish. That could create prices that go to $60, double your money. So this looks like it has a lot more upside potential. This could be a very good buyable dip. Now, if it does want to do a flat, it's possible, but I don't think it's likely looking at the chart. But it can do a flat and come back down to $19, but that would be a massive opportunity, long opportunity. All right, good job bringing that up. All right, I think we got through all the questions. I'm just going to scan the comments real quick, and then I got to get off here. Yeah, so basically, I don't know this Stillwater. I don't know Stillwater. The people screaming buy puts this morning with a zero. Yeah, I mean, that's why it's so hard to buy, you know, the gamblers out there. Zim was looking for a buy in Zimmer, hopefully. Let's see where I have Zimmer at. Hold on, let's see here. Zimmer is one chart I already have. And wow, it was up 12%. They may have already hit. So you gotta pay attention to this. Yeah, it did. It hit the buy area exactly to the penny and launched. So that correction is probably done. So that's the buy. So that was the buy opportunity, 3-wave move. So that should be breaking out. And the reason I like this breakout is a massive inverse head and shoulders breakout on the reversal bottom pattern. So I really like that. Really like that setup. So that's a good setup, the trade. Again, everyone loves NVIDIA. No one's trading Zimmer. I'd be trading Zimmer, guys, if I were you. I'd be ignoring NVIDIA. Coinbase, like MicroStrategy, should be going lower. One more swing is what it's looking for. I'll have to look at that gold versus oil. Yeah, I just try to help out, guys. I help you guys out with the market rig. So the energy complex should still have a more downside technically. I do think rig technically does as well. It's got to go lower. I still have that going lower. Well, oil until oil can bottom. But obviously once oil finds a low and surges higher, then obviously rig will do well, and all those stocks will do well. Bitcoin is a wild card. I keep saying Bitcoin is a wild card right now. It's at a very important point technically. It's just keep an eye on that weekly cycle. I showed everyone how to do. You could do this on your own, you know, from your own TradingView account. You could watch it every day, every tick. But once that weekly cycle breaks and closes, I believe weekly close candle closes, and we close outside of that, I believe crypto has found a low. People won't know that at the time. The sentiment won't realize it, so it'll be kind of a leap of faith type thing. But typically, that's what I'd be looking for. Let me go to my my thing here. Yeah, I'm looking for that weekly cycle break on Bitcoin. Is what I'm looking for, right? And we're gonna get, if we get that break, that downtrend line, it's done. Crypto is going higher. No matter what my charts say, I think that's what's going to happen, guys. Okay, so that's the way to look at it. That's another way of looking at it, at the data. How can the market go up? Well, you're not thinking in multiple dimensions. So this is why the market confuses a lot of traders. How can it do this and then not do that? Because the market doesn't operate in a linear mechanical way. Like that, it's not that easy for traders. They never make it that. If it was just that easy, right, it would be so we could make so much money. Look at what the triple Qs is going to do. Okay, what if? Now we know this C leg has to have, and I don't have this labeled right. It should be a WXY, by the way. So let me first properly label this, but somebody will email me and say I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so This leg here has got to go 5, and then it's got to have a pullback coming in B. This B, see that B? And then it's got to do that. So this B can be deep, it could be scary, but we don't know the stocks that make this up. We don't know. And then we don't know how high the stocks are going to go here. What's going to make up the 4 and 5 in tech? So this is the sector. When this B comes, what could happen? Here's what could happen. Just think of a different dimension. Think of a different dimension. NVIDIA may barely go up in the 4 as the NASDAQ makes a 4 and a 5. It doesn't really go any higher. Maybe it goes to 120. And then when it makes the B wave, maybe NVIDIA collapses down to 80. You go, well, why would it do that, right? Why would it do that if it's not? But look, the B wave could go all the way back down. Like, look, it could crash all the way back down. You see what I'm saying? We don't know the sector. What if this is semiconductors driving this drop? What if everything else in technology is doing well? What if Tesla's pumping and mooning? And what if Apple's carrying the market because pre-orders were amazing? What if all that is what's carrying tech, but what's really dropping the B is in semis, and the semis dump? See, that's the other dimension. So you got to think different. That's why you can't be like, you can't like relate the instruments like logically like that, because that's like I say, think in the market like it's a chess game, but this shit ain't chess. It's poker, guys. I mean, that's everyone will be thinking. That's why no one will think NVIDIA can go to 80. Everyone now thinks NVIDIA is safe to get into. So what are they going to do? They're going to pile in right now. And what do you think? If in a poke, what do you think it is? It's a trap, and then they're going to drop that trap, and then everyone's going to lose that piled in because they FOMO, they thought they missed it, and then you get to compare. That's what I see. That's what I see emerging. Now I can't be a fortune teller. I'm not. I don't. know. I'm not all knowable. I'm not a deity. I don't understand. Like I just. What I see and develop, it looks like a trap today in NVIDIA, and some of it just looks like an AMD. It just looks like that to me. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I see can happen, and that's just one example, right, of what I'm saying. What if it's this? What if this X wave wants to do something different? What if it surprises us, right? You can always do us another surprise, right? What if this does this? Boom, NVIDIA's hammered. It makes $80, and then we get that. You can do that. Now I'm just showing you. I'm not all knowable. I'm not like, I didn't come from the future on a time machine, and I'm telling you this is where it's going. I'm just telling you what the most likely path is. But this isn't tradable. This sector really isn't tradable with a chart that looks like this. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all. But anyway, that's my answer to that question. I hope it helps. I bet a lot of people thought what you said. That's why I wanted to explain it more. Yeah, Zim going up. Well, I mean, look at Zim's chart. If Zim's if you think that's the correlation, and that may be the correlation playing out, then oh my goodness, we have got problems coming with inflation, way beyond what you're seeing. Yeah, and thanks, Jack. Yeah, Jack, and I'm not trying to I'm just trying to help educate, and I try to make the show entertain. I put on here entertaining too a little bit. So anyway, so I just say that, guys, this is how we're going with the market right now. I think the recap before I get off, looks like I got a couple more super chats. I'll get to those. I believe the market could have more upside, but I think you got to watch this a second rug pull with the Dow, the VIX. Looking like this. We know the Qs will have this B pullback if this is the count, or it pulls back in X, one or the other. And of course, the SPY, how this plays out, could be another 1-2, probably be another 1-2 like we had today, something like this, So I think that's what we're looking for to develop. And then we'll go from there. So let me finish up the super chats and I'm out. So SG. Okay, we did Sweet Green. I already got that one. Amazon, all-time highs. Yeah, so Amazon was one I did like to buy eventually. Now, I haven't looked at this chart in a while. So now that the connector is increasing, the target will go up, okay? So I do think Amazon has one more leg lower at some point, but I think this connector is gonna obviously extend, and it could even break this high, but I believe whatever this wave is when the market peaks, the actual stock market makes a peak. So I don't know, maybe it'll turn into a flat, but yeah, obviously it's bullet. Right now, like you got to trade Amazon long now with breaking this 182. And it could easily see now 200, 206. Like I think it could come up here. So I think Amazon's going to play out potentially as a flat correction. And I bet when we're trading up here, the market is at the top of wave 5 and at new all-time highs and that type of thing is what I'm thinking. But because if this is done and it's really going into wave 3 of a grand super cycle, then I start to think, how can the market really crash with Amazon going up like that? It just doesn't seem right. So that's why I think this is probably a better way of looking at it. Because I am real, like, because to get Amazon from $200 to like $300, right, which is what this, I mean, what this would imply, like this would take Amazon up to $300. I can't see, like, again, I'll look in, like I said, I'm trying to think in other dimensions, other, you know, a trade in other dimensions like I'm talking about here. I just can't see how the SPY, like, could Amazon be at 300 while the SPY is at 610? I don't think so. I think Amazon's at 200, 210 when the SPY is at 600. That's what I think. And when the SPY makes this big pullback, Amazon makes that C leg. That's what I think. Now, because at 300, I think it's got to be higher, right? And then the triple Qs, if we're going to do something like this is probably Amazon 200, 210. This is probably Amazon much lower, right, in the C leg, just like you have a tech here. So I don't know. I think it's tough, but I think in the short-term trading, Amazon is buyable and pullbacks until 200. I think Amazon's going to 200 from here on out. And so any pullback in Amazon's a buying opportunity. All right, guys. And yeah, I think it's good that it probably will get to all-time highs. All right, guys. That's all I've got tonight. Good luck training tomorrow. And